only ignorant, arrogant, really rotten to the core people would absolutely disregard any opportunity to hear the evidence as it really was and find out that Casey Anthony was not only innocent, but a victim since she was 8 years old of George the molester, who murdered her child on June 16, 2008, that morning. Now, isn't that enough to punish this woman with? On top of the 3 years she sat in prison, in jail, without any kind of relationship with people. Isn't that enough? No. In other words, the media, who completely deceived the entire country about Casey Anthony and about this murder and about this molester, who they love to protect, just like they protected Paterno and Sandusky, right? Until finally Sandusky was convicted, and now, oh, Paterno was a real scumbag now, okay? Why would he do something like that? Why would Paterno do that? Why would the Catholic priests molest these kids and be protected by the cardinals of the church? Why would people do stuff like that? Instead of, wait a minute, we don't want these people in our organization. Get rid of them. Have them arrested, prosecuted, not protected. What about this guy, George Anthony? You know, I mean, Danziger was so worried that he might be innocent. He wasn't worried that, wait a minute, he's a guilty bastard, and she's the one that's innocent. So we don't care about Casey Anthony. We'll just prosecute her, okay? Even though Danziger knew, he was so convinced that she was telling the truth that he couldn't sleep. Now, if she was just a liar about everything, why would he have any problem sleeping? He wouldn't, you see. So this is how absolutely screwed up the American public is. The entire public. Because even the few people who absolutely are concerned about Casey's welfare and that she's innocent, even them refuse to understand that bias, using this complete lie that it was an accident, when he absolutely knew on April 13th at the deposition with the psychiatrist, with the prosecutors, right there, okay, that not only was Casey innocent, but obviously George murdered Kaylee. And George, what was his purpose? I mean, come on. There's no other possible reason than he molested her and that he knew she would talk. I mean, what other possible motive does George have to murder Kaylee? None. I mean, zero. So if there's absolutely no possible other motive, then it can't be anything but molesting. Okay? You see, Americans just absolutely don't understand deductive reasoning. They don't understand reasoning or rational thought. They just go from one crazy, screwball, irrational idea to the next, electing people who are taking bribes, every single one of them, and they call them campaign finance, and that the bankers are blowing money gambling with derivatives, and they call it proprietary trading, and we're just so, the American people, not we, I'm not I'm not nuts. That's the point. I'm the only person that can understand the facts as they are, because I'm not politically correct, I'm not in a trance, I'm not under the influence of this propaganda brainwashing operation that has completely destroyed the United States of America. Okay? You see, this case of Casey Anthony is the most incredibly critical case there has ever been. And how is it possible that people who see this YouTube, who in the privacy of their homes can think it through and say, wait a minute, you know what? We can't let this stand. I've got to circulate this YouTube far and wide so that there's justice, so that we stop this. Let Casey Anthony live. Welcome Casey Anthony. She's been absolutely crushed without any possible reason, legitimately. So, can't you apologize to Casey Anthony? Of course you can't apologize to the black people for putting their ancestors in slavery because you're so freaking arrogant. Or the Indians, put them on reservations after you genocide almost the entire population of Indians. You can't, you're too arrogant to apologize, you know? I mean, we go from one dipshit, nitwit, irrational thing to the next. Stealing, murdering, electing total crooks and liars. I mean, this is America, okay? On top of the wonderful opportunity that we could be having based upon what George Washington created. Not what we created. We're destroying everything that the Revolution and the Civil War ever created with all that bloodshed. We're just going in reverse here, big time. And it started with Reagan, and it's getting worse and worse. And the media just keeps pounding away at the public, and they can justify anything. Even Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan and Obama. Let's check out Obama. Remember when he promised to do away with the tax breaks for corporations that took the work from Americans and forced slaves in China to do that work? Remember when he said, I'll knock these tax breaks out? He never knocked one of them out. He never even tried. That was a complete lie. And you don't hear that in the campaign, because Romney has absolutely no desire to straighten that out, because they're all involved in this globalization slavery deal, you see. That's how corrupt Americans are. They don't care. They don't care what they do to other people. As long as they can sit on their fat ass and watch the Olympics. And, oh, we got so many gold medals. Well, that's great. Great. I mean, we have the best sports imaginable in America. I mean, it doesn't matter that the basketball team wins. Of course they win. I mean, why don't they have an NFL football team play an Olympics event? Who do you think would win? Come on. I mean, Jesus. So, why can't we wake up about Casey Anthony? Let's just start with that. Maybe we can actually reverse this thing. I mean, isn't it worth saving this country? that we have, please